All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give our honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rekah Kodash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Lord, when this lesson be edifying to so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians who consist of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? It's your fellow servant Awad from the GMS Orlando camp. And Lord, when this lesson be edifying, right? So real quick, I heard a brother bring out forgot who it was, but I heard a brother bring out this scripture right here, which is in the title. Okay, they are enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. Okay, let me go to it here. So that's my title, but I got it from this right here, this account that you know that was written in Hebrews about Moses. Okay, yeah, let me try to find it real quick. Let me see. Already 25. Okay. So Hebrews chapter 11, verse 25. We're gonna get some context. Okay. All right. Verse 23. It was by faith that Moses' parents hid him for 3 months when he was born. They saw that Yahawah had given them an unusual child, and they were not afraid to disobey the king's command. Verse 24. Because at that time they were killing, the children of Israel, the men, the boy childs. Okay, they were killing the boy child. So Moses' mother had to let him flow. Okay. Moses' mother had to let him go. Had to get had to let him go, and he ended up in the hands of I think for Pharaoh's daughter, his household, inside Pharaoh's household. Okay, right here, Pharaoh's daughter, right? Okay, and she ended up being able to. That's why it says right here. It says they saw that Yahweh had given them an unusual child. It wasn't an Egyptian; it was an Israelite, and they were not afraid to disobey the king's command. So they disobeyed his commands because his command was what? Okay, to kill all those children, all the boy children of the Israelites. All right, that was his command. All right, but they were not afraid of, so they disobeyed the king's commandment. Verse 24, it was by faith that Moses, when he grew up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, right? He chose to share the oppression of Yahweh's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasure of sin. And I just wanted to, let me continue on real quick. Verse 26, he thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Hamashiach than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. And that's the problem with you guys, man. You have no vision. Okay, where there's no vision, the people perish. Because the only reason why anybody would sell out in these times, okay, and we know we have sellouts among us, all right. The only reason why anybody would sell out and get their reward, their quote unquote reward from Esau, what they would think is a reward, okay, on this side, is because they lack vision. All right. The kingdom is already given to the Israelites, man. You know, it tells you about that the Lord went to prepare the place. Okay. Eyes have not heard. Okay. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the things that the roughly paraphrasing these scriptures that the Lord has laid up for us. Okay, but this is beautiful though, right here. It shows you what a righteous man, what a stand-up man for Yahawashi is going to do. And it ain't just Moses. You have men that followed within that track of righteousness. Okay, within that track of thinking. Okay, that I'm going to stand firm for the Lord. It don't matter if if I can sell out, I can go there, I can do that. No, that ain't what I'm doing. Okay, I don't care how much they try to convince me. Okay, going back to Yahawashi, Satan try to convince Yahawashi. Okay, but it doesn't matter though. Hey, if you are for the Lord, you're going to stand stiffly for Him, and you're not going to give in to the pleasures of sin. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again. This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24. It was by faith that Moses, when he grew up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, and that's a big thing. Okay, because being called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, if he was one of these demons that we see today that sell out, okay, he would have everything. Okay, you'd probably be drinking from a gold cup. Pharaoh was the king. Okay, Pharaoh was the man, and he landed in the daughter of Pharaoh's hands. Okay, so he could have had anything he wanted. All right, he chose to share the oppression of Yahweh's people. Okay, instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasure of sin, he chose to share the oppression. Okay, to share the hard bondage. Okay, of Yahweh's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasure of sin. Okay, now I got that right there real quick. Let me there you go. Slocking. And I typed it in real quick. I said, what does fleeting pleasure mean? Fleeting pleasure means refers to temporary enjoyment, okay, that ultimately leads to lasting pain. It highlights the transit nature of joy, all right, emphasizing that such moments of satisfaction are often short lived and elusive. Additionally, it can be described as a brief experience of joy, okay, and pleasure which quickly fades away, illustrating ephemeral quality of such feelings, right? So everything on this side is temporal, okay? It's vain, it's vanity. And they enjoying it, you know, thinking it's gonna last. It's not gonna last, okay? And I told you, these guys don't see into the future, man. The Lord has not given them the eyesight to really see and believe and have the faith that the Lord is gonna, deliver us and put us on the highest totem pole that could ever be there. You know what I'm saying? Um, where there is no vision. Let me grab this real quick. All right. And this reads Proverbs chapter there's a couple of them right here. Hold on, let me see something. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, the one we all know, where there is no vision, the people perish. Okay, the people die if they don't have no vision. Okay, because they don't know where to go. They don't know what to lean on. But right here it says, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he, because the Lord has set us up. Okay, with his understanding, knowledge, and wisdom that we win. Ultimately, we win. Okay, we have the vision. If we stay the course, we get the reward. Okay, just like Peter asked, Yahawashi, we have forsaken all these things. What do you have laid up for us? And the Lord went on to answer him. Okay, hold on 1 second. Page, just wait. Come on, I'll stop acting up. Let me just make sure. Vision Terry, no, that's not okay. Okay, so no, these ain't good. They're good, but it's not what I wanted. So Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So going back here to Hebrews, okay, he chose to share the oppression of Yahweh's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasure of sin. Okay, the fleeting pleasure, it's going to fly. By the time they get there, before they think they can enjoy it, it's going to fly away from them. Okay, it tells you it's temporal. The definition I just looked up. He thought it was better to suffer for the sake of a Mashiach. Now, this is the spirit that the true elect, okay, that the 144,000 is going to come into, and also the elect, okay, the total. They're going to come in understanding that it's better to suffer for the sake of Mashiach, because he suffered for our sake. He laid down his life for us. Okay, it does not make sense for us to go and continue to live our life in maliciousness, using our liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, as the scriptures say, and to sell out and do all these things against his name. All right, for the sake of Hamashiach, then to own the treasures of Egypt, and that's what you guys are doing. You're owning the treasures of Egypt. Okay, when you say I got all these racks, all these stacks, I could buy bands and I could do this and that, I could jet set, Papua New Guinea, go to different. You're saying you saying I have the white man's face in my pocket. If you don't have it in his pocket, you have it in his digital system, his banking systems. The man, then when I'm talking about the money on his face, the faces on the money is him. Those are the treasures of Egypt. Okay, the money, the lust of the eyes. Okay, for he was looking ahead. Okay, looking past all this temporal bullshit. For he was looking ahead to his great reward. Okay, and that brings me to Psalms. Real quick, I'm gonna grab this. Psalms chapter 31, verse 19. NLT version. How great is the goodness you have stored up for those who fear you. You lavish it on those who come to you for protection, blessing them before the watching world. Okay. And let me grab this King James version real quick. Hold on 1 second. KJV. Okay. KJV. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Okay. Let me see something real quick. Yup, First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. Rather, as it is written, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined what Yahawah has prepared for those who love him. Okay. Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that Yahawah works all things together for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. So the Lord is going to take care of us, man. Okay. The Lord is going to take care of us, so we don't have to worry about no temporal bullshit. Okay. It tells you the fashion of this world. Let me see the fashion of this world. Okay. First Corinthians. Let me see if I get a Bible. King Solomon told us, man, all these things are vain. Just serve the Lord, okay, and keep his commandments. That's it. That's the blueprint that gets you salvation, and that's the main thing right now. If you're not worried about salvation, you worried about getting a bag in this kingdom. You worried about selling, jumping the gun, selling out. Okay, you worry about all these things, you will fail. All right. This is First Corinthians chapter 7, verse verse 30. Those who weep or who rejoice or who buy things should not be observed by their weeping or their joy or their possessions. Or so it says. Let me see something real quick. That's the NLT. Let me let me see if I can get a different version. What should I get a different version about? Hey, let me make a phone call real quick because they're being loud as fuck. 1 second. Slap out. Slack, y'all. Come slack. Forgive me, okay? They're being a little too loud back there. But let me continue on here. And they got the AMP version. Let me see. Yup. Beautiful. And it's beautiful that the Spirit been allowing brothers to go in different, translations, man. It really opened up, it really opened up, man. These things opened up about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Brothers might have, when I came in, I noticed that it was King James, for a little while, but then the Lord has put that spirit for brothers go into NOT. NOT was a great one. Now brothers is going to the AMP and the Berean and all these different things, man, so that the Lord's message can be uh, brought more clarity to, more simplicity to, okay? Because sometimes the key KJV can be a little bit hard for those to understand, right? All right. but the water Yahawashi outside, you know, First Corinthians chapter 7, verse uh third. Let me start at 29, okay? But I say this, believers, the time has been shortened so that from now on, even those who have wives should be as they did not, and those who weep as though they did not weep, and those who rejoice as though they did not rejoice, and those who buy as though they did not possess anything. And those, so your mindset is not focused on your possessions, right? We in a time where the Lord is going to destroy this shit. And those who, and the only thing that's going to stand firm is your faith. And those who use the world taking advantage of its opportunities as though they did not make full use of it. For the outward form of this world, its present social and material nature is passing away. And this is why we grab these different versions. So Jake can understand, man, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians out there. So you can understand. All right. It says, for the outward form of this world, the outward form, all right, the things that it has to offer, its present social and material nature is passing away. All this shit is passing away, man. Okay. This shit is temporal, as the definition said here. Okay. All right. What does fleeting pleasure mean? Fleeting pleasure refers to temporary enjoyment that ultimately leads to lasting pain. And it's going to be lasting pain, but guess what? Because the Lord said, those who teach shall lasting pain. This is going to be that lasting pain. They're going to be good in the kingdom, you know, when they're brought back. But this thing, they're going to have to wear that. They're going to have to wear that. They're going to have to wear their actions, man. One second. Shall down in the kingdom. I know it's in the New Testament. I think it's in, is it Peter or Revelations? Let me see. Corinthians, okay, First Corinthians. Shall be. Okay, it wasn't the head down slack. It was them, you know, them being called least is going to allow them to have that feeling of uh, uh, shame. Okay, because while they were here, okay, they lived pleasurously, maliciously, you turn their back on the plow. Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Okay, teaching false doctrine. So if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, okay, they're teaching others that the Gentiles can make it. We got fucking deacon in them. Okay, what's up, ma? You got Bishop Nate saying you can't, what I'm saying, you can't have multiple wives. You got Bishop Nate saying, you know, you know, pretty much teaching, there is no microchips. When he said that, it's June, there are no microchips, you know. So you got guys like that. So if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who obeys Yahweh's laws and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? So a lot of these guys gonna have their head down in the kingdom because they didn't teach the correct doctrine. All right. One second, real quick. Let me see what I got. Uh, all right. And let me just check on here real quick. Okay, good. Everything's good. All right. So where do I want to go from here? Slack, y'all bear with me real quick. All right. All right. Okay, Khan. Okay, better to suffer for the sake of Hamashiach than to own the treasures of Egypt. Okay, than to own the treasures of Egypt. And that's what a lot of these guys are doing. They're heaping up riches unto themselves. Okay, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. Okay, and it told you in First Corinthians, or was it second? One of them. It says some. It told you eyes have not heard. I mean, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard the things that the Lord has laid up for those that follow Him all the way through to the end. Roughly paraphrasing, verse 27. It was by faith that Moses left the land of Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He kept right on going because he kept his eyes on the whole. He kept his eyes on the one who is invincible. Okay, so that's the thing. That's the thing, man. All right. So now let's get a couple more precepts real quick. Let me see something. No, no, no. I'll get that a little later. Hold on. Okay. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4. Get into Bible.com. All right. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4 through 5. Riches profit not in a day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from the death. And that's what a lot of you guys do. You take the bag from Esau, but you're not delivered from death, man, because your righteousness, man, you don't have it. Okay. You turn, it says, and and all his righteousness will be forgotten. All his good works, all his works of good shall be forgotten, because you put your hand towards iniquity. Okay, you put your hands towards deceit. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. So you guys that got all these fucking jets and G wagons and living scrumptiously and luxury and begot, and deceiving the sheep. Okay, you guys gonna die a horrible death. Okay, because your riches won't be able to protect you in that day. All right, that's actually the mindset of Esau, thinking your riches is gonna profit you in the day of wrath. All right, the righteousness of the perfect shall direct his path, direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness, man. Okay, and that's what you see. It happening time and again, man. With Alazar and them, Jim, not Jim, man. Sakari, so like I got GMS on the brain. Sakari, that whole group getting broken up. Tazadakia, the gossip comforter, so-called gossip comforter, him dropping dead. Okay, and plenty over the years, plenty of men that apostles and elders have told us about. Okay, all right. Luke chapter 12, verse 21, and you really can shut this thing down now. But this is a hitter right here, man. So I gotta grab this. I gotta grab it because this is exactly what's going on, man. These people forget that the Most High is the one. Okay, the Most High is the one that's watching everything, man, through the angels, and watching everything. Luke chapter 12, verse 21, and I start up. Let me start up at this is 18, and he said, "This will I do. I will put down my barns as a man that owns and has great possessions, okay, and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods." Okay, these are the extras. Okay, he had a leftover. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But Yahweh said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required. Right? What is your life but a vapor? Shall be required of thee. One day they in the bins, the next day in the casket. All right. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward Yahawah. You guys ain't rich toward Yahawah. Okay? These guys are not rich toward Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, man. They rich in this worldly sense, man. These guys are rich in the world. These guys got a little bit of money to play with in the world. Okay? Let me keep moving. Slakia. I hit that already. Let me see. Hit that. I hit that already. Let me see something. I'm just trying to clear everything up. Slakia. Okay, guys, going into that vision. clean, keep a keep a clean table here. Keep a clean table here. We already got that. Okay, good. We already got that. Okay, come on. So, all right, just all right. So let's go here real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 12. And then we're gonna transition to the righteous men. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his day be prolonged, it looks like nothing's happening to him. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahawah, which fear before him. Okay, so we know we're going to see that. You know what I'm saying? What did Ezra say? Or what did the Lord tell Ezra? Focus on, the ones that's getting salvation. Don't focus on the one that's going to die. Okay, verse 13, but it shall not be well with the wicked, right? Neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh. There is a vanity which done upon the earth, that there be just men unto whom it happeneth according to the work of the wicked. Again, there be wicked men to whom it happeneth according to the work of the righteousness. I said that this also is vanity. Okay, all right. But it should be well with them that fear Yahweh, man. It's going to be well with us, Lord, when we stay the course and stay with that same fear. Okay, stay that same fear. All right. But it won't be well with those, that's doing, sin 100 times. Okay, this though a sinner do evil 100 times, they're doing evil 100 times. Okay, taking the payouts, taking the bag. Okay, taking the sellout. Oh, I mean, not taking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 1 second, y'all. Slugging. Okay, come on. I hope y'all can hear me now. I'm back in. Let me see something. Okay, I should be back in. All right. Okay. All right. Taking the bag, man. All right. So now, this is why we tell you, man, that even though they call themselves Israelites, they are not Israelites, man. Through the bloodline, they may be Israelites, but not through the spirit. Okay, and the spirit meaning according to the ways of following Yahawashi Yahawashi. Okay, you know that's why Yahawashi made this statement. Uh, let me just boom. Let me just okay. That's why Yahawashi made this statement because a lot of these guys are not. It says Apostle Paul, they are not all Israel that are of Israel. Okay, yeah, they are the family, through the bloodline. But when you talk about that righteous spirit lineage, these guys ain't part of that, man. You know, they don't have the spirit to, say fuck the riches. I'm gonna suffer for Hamashiach's sake because he laid down his life for us, and it's no other better thing that we lay down our life for them, okay, and not take the easy route out like other guys have taken it, following that examples of Moses and Job and the Lord ultimately, Yahawashi. A lot of these guys don't look at things like that. They don't have that mind, and this is why we tell you, man. Everybody that's an Israelite, okay, it's you got the Israelite of the Most High, you got the elect of the Most High, and then you got Israelites, just Israelites out there, man, just 2/3, fucking 2/3. All right, you got the Israel of the Most High, and then you got fucking just Israelites just out there, man, selling out, doing all type of sin, disobeying the Lord, not hearkening to His words. Okay, you got to know that, man. All right. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, This is his physical brother and mother, right? Desired to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him, and that told him, who is my mother and who is my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples. Those are your true family, man. Those brothers that you're laboring with right now, at the moment, Lord willing to manifest to that they stood strong and stayed in the paint. Lord willing manifested that they are of the elect, you know. But the ones standing strong stiffly for the Lord Yahawashi, this is what the Lord telling you, man. I'm looking toward his disciples. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my brother, behold my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother, man. Okay? So if you're not doing the will of Yahweh Shah, we don't give a fuck if you're an Israelite from King David's lineage, from his ball sack. Okay, if you're not doing the will, then you are not of the house of David. Okay, you are not of the house. You are not of the righteous house of David. You are not a righteous, the righteous, that righteous spiritual lineage. Okay, that righteous, lineage, the elect. Okay, you are a part of the house of Saul. All right, so yeah, okay, and you got to know, you know, suffering for Hamashiach's sake is not going to come. It's not going to be easy, man. That's why the scriptures talk about, picking up your cross. If you can't be his disciple, man. Okay, so it's going to be things that you're going to, be lacking. Okay, it says a fox have holes and boom, 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 but roughly paraphrasing, but the men of the Lord have no place to lay their head. Okay, it tells you that you're going to go through much tribulations before you enter the kingdom. So all that, when you got to know what you sign up for from the beginning, because motherfuckers get halfway and then feel like it's tough, it's hard, and then Esau come with that paper and that pen, and motherfuckers just sign it back. Motherfuckers sign their life away for one morsel of meat, just like Esau or Judas. Okay, because at the end of the day, they're gonna toss all that shit up when the time, like I said, the richest prophet not a day of wrath. When that day of wrath comes, they're gonna be looking at everything and it's gonna be useless. What the fuck you gonna do with a what you gonna do with a G-Wagon in Jacob's trouble? What you gonna do? Okay? So let's get this real quick, because a lot of these guys don't know what it is to suffer and to stay on and to continuously suffer. Okay? They want to enjoy the pleasures. They want to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. All right, that's what these guys all about, man. First Peter chapter 5, we saw that spirit on them a long time ago. The scopeo been on them. First Peter chapter 5 verse 9, it's just being revealed now. Whom resist? Let's start up. First Peter chapter 5 verse 7, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And he's using these motherfuckers too to devour their sheep. Whom resist their fast and the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished. Knowing. It says, whom resist their fast and the faith. So staying in the faith, knowing, not no maybe, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Okay? This is why, all the brothers keep in mind that we always this is only one goal we trying to get to the kingdom, Yahawashi's kingdom. So a lot of brothers, we are going through the same thing, whether we speak about it or we don't. We're going through the same infirmities, afflictions. Brothers go through different things, but it all roundabout way is suffering. Okay? And it's accomplished in the brethren that's around us that are in the world. Okay? Verse 10, but the power of Yahawah, but the power of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by Hamashiach Yahawashi, after that he have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. To him be the glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. And that's a great way to end this thing here, man. It says make you make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. In the kingdom, man, we're not gonna have any want for anything, man. Okay? But on this side, we gotta have lacking. That's the humility, man. Okay, that's how the Lord going to show His power in people that got money already. That's fucking doing awesome and jet setting. And how are you gonna show His power within them? No, He had to choose the Lord of Earth. Okay, He had to choose us, man. The meek. He had to choose the ones that are encamped about by enemies on all sides. The ones that it looks like they're losing. Okay, because it's such an underdog story. The Lord loves a great underdog story. You better check him out. The Lord had King David. When he was just David. He was going to fight the giant, the big dude, the Philistine, Shalaki, the Philistine. I believe it was the Philistine. You know, that was pretty much a warrior. All right, and David put his ass down. Okay, but this is Lord willing, this lesson fall on good ears because a lot of guys are taking the bag out and they're not understanding that at the end of the tunnel, it's not going to do them any good, man. The Lord is going to kill them, and their death is going to be a horrible death. Okay, and it's going to be publicized, man. The Lord don't hide judgment. Okay, it's going to be publicized. All right, where we all one of us going to hear about it, and that's going to be the mocking is going to come from us. We're going to mock you guys because you mock Yahawah Yahawashi. All right. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. Until next time, say Shalom. Call on Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi Bashim Kakodash, and double honors to the apostles and others of great millstone. Shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. Shalak Yahakim.